Hey everybody. Well, long story short, yesterday when I got home from work, I tried to shoot a video. I got about 25 minutes worth of content filmed, and then I realized that none of it was usable except for I got a B-roll shot that I can use, and that's it. So, just to catch you up to speed here, I used my ultrasonic cleaner to clean an absolute bunch of brass. This is all stuff I did yesterday um, when I was trying to film that you missed. And then I also got that 308 and some more 308 all cleaned up off camera along with a bunch of 223, probably 200 rounds of 223 that I did off camera. And so none of it was usable, but I'll give you the too long didn't read. I filled up my ultrasonic cleaner with hot water, a mix of LA Totally Awesome, which I have off screen, a mix of LA Totally Awesome and some Lemon Shine. And I ran each one of these, uh, I ran the 9 mil brass for 15 minutes, that for 15 minutes, and then this for 15 minutes in their own batches. And then I put them in the oven to dry at 170 degrees for 15 minutes as well. Well, I'm not sure if it's going to affect it at all, but it looks like the aluminum trays that I used here may have transferred some of their metal, their finish to these cases, and you can wipe them off for the most part, but there is still a discoloration stain on them. So I don't think the oven is going to be a viable option for drying. What I was doing previous to this, and it seemed to work pretty well, was I was laying a towel down on the ground and I'd fill it up with brass and shake it around. I'd jostle it to get a lot of the large amounts of water off of it, and then I'd just let it air dry for a day. So I think that may be a viable option. I also have my dry media tumbler that I've been told is also a usable way to clean them off real quick or dry them off real quick. So, long story short, y'all missed a bunch of this brass, but I still got um, another batch of brass that I'm gonna do on camera today. I messed around with the camera angle and the settings on it a little bit, so we might be able to get some actual usable footage today. So that's the game plan. I'm gonna take all this stuff off. I'm gonna put it in its respective bags for organization, and I'll end up coming back to that at some point. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. I am going to. I think the next one I'm going to do is some federal brass. And I said yesterday in the video, this stuff here is all um, Lake City and PMC 308 brass. This stuff here, that's going to be um, organized to run in semi-auto or gas 308 systems, so I don't have to worry about that being as precise as it needs to be for like a bolt gun system. And this is all, I believe this is my Winchester brass that I mainly use for hunting loads, and federal I use for hunting loads as well. So that's the quick, too long, didn't read recap. I think I'm going to cut to some time lapse footage here of me putting all this stuff away, getting that set up, and getting my federal brass put in it. Now, I don't think that 15 minutes is enough. I ran a test when I first got this thing home and set up and started using it. That I ran it in 10-minute cycles, and somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes was about the point where I got to a point of diminishing return. Like, it doesn't make sense to let it sit for any longer than that for me specifically, because this is just the first step of my prep process. So I'm still going to go through and clean the necks and clean the primer pockets. And I actually just got on my drill, actually, I was testing it on these here. I got a primer pocket uniformer that I'm going to run through them all. So the primer pockets don't need to be spotless. The necks don't need to be spotless because I use a brass brush and a nylon brush for them as well. So the main goal here is to get the actual body of the case as clean as possible. And it doesn't have to be like brand new, never fired brass. I'm not looking for that. I don't think that has much of an effect on velocities and standard deviations and overall accuracy or precision, I guess. Overall precision when it comes to, I mean, I'm not running F-class tournaments. I'm not running anything that I need to be absolutely accurate. I'm trying to get sub 1 minute MOA for a gun that cost me $350. I'm not looking for 0.2 inch groups. I'm not looking for 0.3 inch groups. Anything over 0.5, it's unusable. I'm not going for that level of precision quite yet. When I build a couple of guns, that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. But right now, with my 308, the way that I have it set up, I'm happy with anything under sub minute. And that. Alright, we got it filled up. We got all the brass put away, and we got our Federal. I think I did 3, 5, and 6 times fired in here. So we're gonna throw these in. Throw those in there. And instead of using LA Totally Awesome, we're going to try using Ajax instead. We're just going to dab a little splash in there. And about a tablespoon of lemon shine. And we're going to kick this on for 20 minutes this time. Hit the main power. We are currently sitting at 53 degrees Celsius. I'll have the heater kick on at 52 so it doesn't come on right away. 53 or whatever. And we're going to let this run for 20 minutes, and we'll be back. This just finished up running. We're going to pull the lid off. Ooh, spicy. Kind of warm. Be careful. We're up to 67 degrees Celsius on this. So now we're going to pull our basket. Drain as much of the water out of these as we can. These are looking awesome right now. And I was thinking, as I was running this batch, I should probably preface this with this combination of cleaning stuff is not going to be a constant for me. I'm waiting on my Brash Juice case wash to come in. That should be here sometime this weekend. So this is all this using this stuff is just because I'm too antsy to wait for that to come in to clean all my brass. If I don't like the way it comes out, I'll just rewash it all. I mean, at 20 minutes a piece, that's still saving me. Well, I mean, I normally ran my dry tumbler for anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. So at 20 minutes a piece, it's saving me time either way. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go wash this off with some cold water to let it get all the cleaning chemicals off of them, and then I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, we just got this stuff washed off with some super cold water. The insides look good. Primer pockets look pretty decent actually from the one I just picked up. There's always some level of variance. You're never gonna get the exact same result case to case. I mean, like the one in the one on the right here has a little bit more grime built up around the edge of the primer pocket, whereas this one doesn't. But what I said before is all that really matters is the inside of them are fairly clean. This one's got a little bit of soot down at the bottom, but I imagine running it through this after each firing from now on will probably make it a little better. I mean, like this one's got a lot of soot down at the bottom. We got kind of a mixed bag here. And this stuff's all been shot multiple times, all been run through my process multiple times. I think we're actually going to put this back in just to see if we can get it just a little bit cleaner, because it's not as clean as I would think it would be. I think we just got to agitate it a little bit before we put it in, get everything to settle differently, and then we'll run it for another, I don't know, 10 minutes. Randomly agitate it here, and we'll just run it for another 10 minutes to see where it gets us. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, well, we let it run for another 10 minutes. Let's see where it gets us now, eh? It's kind of the point of learning. You never know what's going to happen. I've never had one of these machines before, and I've never used it on brass, so I don't know what the right timing is, what I'm looking for as far as I don't have a baseline for results. I just know what my dry media tumbler did, and it was not anything near as good as this, and it took twice or three times as much time to do, even more maybe. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run these over to the sink and get the water taken off them, or get the chemicals off them, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at them again. All right, we're back. Let's see what we got for a result here. Now, like I said, I'm not expecting perfectly clean, never fired brass, but as far as this stuff goes, it seems like it's done a pretty good job. A couple of these cases still have some soot down at the bottom, but a couple of them are like looking brand new almost. So I'm assuming that the ones that have more soot built up are a more times fired version. So I mean, the 3 times fired that I pulled out of here is looking pretty spotless on the bottom, it looks like. But the stuff that's been fired 5 or 6 times still has some gunk built up on the bottom. And the cases look fairly clean. The bodies of the cases look fairly clean. So I'm happy with it at this point. I think what I'm going to do is I'll lay my towel out on the table here and try and dry off the majority of the water. And then we'll see where that gets us. There's all our cases. And we kind of put it in a hammock here. That's how I've been doing it, at least. And we'll kind of lay them out. I'll end up using these trays since I'm not going to put them back in the oven. I'll use the trays to let them air dry overnight. Well, I mean, the rest of the day, because it's super early in the morning right now. And we'll kind of inspect them in a little bit. I cannot wait until I get my brass juice case wash. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've seen a lot of good videos and reviews about it, so I bit the bullet and bought it. I figure it says you can use it for multiple washes, which, I mean, I'm doing the same thing with this stuff. This is just household cleaning supplies. But if it produces a better result than my household cleaning supplies, and I can buy it, and it lasts a long enough time, I mean, it just seems like it might be the smarter solution. Yeah, a lot of these are looking really good. This one specifically looks amazing. Got like absolutely no soot in the bottom. Primer pocket looks beautifully cleaned. Overall, it's got a nice clean finish on it. Sometimes you get the harsh chemicals. You put too much harsh chemical in there and it like kind of erodes the outside of the case. And I'm not seeing that with any of these, which is really good news. And again, I just want to say that these are for hunting purposes. I'm only using these cases for hunting at this point. I did start off loading and doing load development with federal cases because that's what I shot when I went hunting. So I just saved all the cases and started reloading from there. But now that I've gotten past the introduction, let's call it, stage of reloading, I feel like it would behoove me to buy some actual premium quality brass that's made to be reloaded a bunch of times. I mean, I've gotten upwards of 6 firings on these exact federal cases, and I haven't had any issues. I do anneal them every 3 times I fire them. So, like, I'll take once fired brass, I'll run it through my process, reload it, fire it again, and then on the second time reloading, aka the third time it's been fired, I'll run it through my annealing process. I know a lot of people say there's different numbers out there. 5 times, you never anneal it. There's people that anneal it every time they fire it. That cuts too much into my process time. I found that the happy medium is 3 times. You don't lose a lot of case neck tension throughout that time. And I think I've only scrapped out maybe 3 or 4 cases for case neck issues, and it was all PMC or Lake City, like the typical military brass. So I don't think I'm going to have a problem with annealing every 3 times. I haven't currently had a problem with it at all. It seems like it works out just fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the I could probably run some Hornady brass. Yeah, I'll do some Hornady brass here quick too. Hornady brass out here. What do we got? This is all. The majority of everything I have here is 6 times fired Hornady brass. It's all. Everything I'm going to put in the ultrasonic cleaner has been fired 6 times. So we'll just dump it all in there. Throw our 6 times tag back in so we remember what we were at. And this is not a lot. This is probably 30 cases or so. So we'll let that sit in there, and we're going to run this for, let's do 20 minutes and see where it puts us. I mean, if anything, we can run it for another 10 like we did the last batch. So I'm trying to run all of it at the same time because this water loses its heat very fast, and the heater unit in this ultrasonic cleaner takes forever to heat cold water back up. I mean, just from sitting here talking and whatever, it's gone down, what is that, 5 degrees Celsius or so. So we'll run it, it'll jump back up in temperature, and it'll be good to go. But, alright, we're going to hit the button here, and I'll be back in a minute. Our Hornady brass has gone through the cleaner for 20 minutes, I think I said. So we're going to pull it out, inspect it, wash it off, and take a look to see if we want to run it some more. So, I'm still amazed at how crazy this brass looks after it comes out of here. It looks straight off of the fucking factory floor here. It looks like it was just made in the Hornady plant and dropped into my cleaner. Looking fairly clean. We're going to go rinse it out and inspect it again. And we're probably going to end up running it for another, 10 minutes, I think. Alright, we thoroughly washed our brass off here, and it's looking pretty good. I think I might run it just for another 10 minutes, just for the sake of consistency. Oh, I found one pretty grimy, nasty one. That one's fairly dirty still, too. Yeah, we're going to run it for another 10 minutes, just for the sake of consistency. So drop that back in there. And set this for 10 minutes. Scared me even. Alright, we're going to hit the button and we'll be back. We're back. We ran it for another 10 minutes. We are done washing brass today. So now we're going to turn this off. It is 65 degrees Celsius. We're just going to turn the whole unit off and let it cool down to somewhat like room temperature. I don't know. Whenever I get back to it, I get back to it. I'm going to go rinse this stuff off and come back, inspect it, and lay it out to dry. So over the course of 2 days, I've washed... It's weird. That one's got a ring on it. Like a weird ring. We'll see if that comes off. Over the course of the last 2 days, I've washed probably, I'd say 600 pieces of brass so far. This thing's holding up alright. I mean, the necks are pretty burnt, but so far it's looking decent enough. I'm going to lay this out on a tray and put it down on the floor with the other batch. Oh man, messed that up. I gotta dry it with the towel first. So we'll move this off to the side. Lay this towel out. Knocking everything over in the meantime. Lay this towel out. We'll put this brass on it. Shake as much of the excess water off it as we can because I messed that up. And then we'll hammock this brass dry. Alrighty. Just, for the most part dry. Shake all the extra water off it, hoping that it gets most of the primer pocket water out. But not a big deal if it doesn't, because it's going to air dry. And I'm going to periodically check on it while it's air drying. Once every, I don't know, hour, 2 hours, whenever I remember. And we'll see at what point is it dry enough to pull off the pan here and put back in its storage. And then tomorrow I will probably end up doing a bunch of prep on all of this cleaned brass now. I got the primer pocket uniformer that I'm going to run through them. And the good thing about the uniformer is I should only have to use it once. Just get them uniformed and cut to the same depth and all that. And then that should be the last time I have to use it. So I'm only going to have to use it for new brass. Alright, I'm going to get this laid out on the floor. We're going to let that cool down. And I'm going to start editing this video. And then we'll come back when we're on to the next stage of this process. We're back. This is the last bit of the video here. I actually just got done finishing up the editing for the rest of the video. Just going to throw this clip in and get it posted by tonight. We got our brass that has been sitting out all day today. It's been about 6 or 7 hours, I'd say, and everything looks adequately dry to be put away into storage for a later use. This is the third time I've done this video. I've had microphone issues the past 2 times, but we got our brass juice case wash in the mail today, so I've actually decided I'm going to pull some of these cases out of each one of these batches of brass that I've done so far, and I'm going to run it through and see how it compares to the mixture that we put together just with household cleaning products. That's all put away. The water's all out of it. Everything's done. I got the water in a bucket sitting here in front of me, and it's actually all of the water that I've used in the cleaner since I got it home and have been cleaning a bunch of stuff. So it's got probably 600 rounds or 600 cases in it worth of dirt and grime. I'll take a picture and throw it in the corner of this video here when I get it put up. But we're going to end this on a high note. I am drinking a tequila sunrise, and I'm going to get all this put together, get the video edited the rest of the way, and posted for tonight. And I will see you guys next time.